Good morning, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas Seabury Canarian, and you're watching Mailjet's Email Academy. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you're having a wonderful December. And first and foremost, I've got some of my favorite folks here with our Mailjet team. Always a pleasure to work out with them and just be here with them. First and foremost, we've got, ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Lynch, the Principal Product Manager over at Mailjet. Natalie, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. It is evening for me, though. How are you this morning?
Good evening and good night. That's it. I'm still as you wrap up your day, I'm still getting mine going here, but it's been a nice day. Ready for the holidays, so good to see you. Good to see you. And ladies and gentlemen, you probably get her emails all the time. You probably see her all the time in your inbox. But ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Julia Mirliacic, the Senior Email Marketing Manager. I'm still practicing and trying to get that right. So
You did great. That was exactly correct. Great job. Great job. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody here. So let's wrap up this year, shall we? So much has happened, so we're excited to talk about all that fun stuff. So, real quick, we are this is not possible without our amazing team helping us out in the back end as well. So real quick shout out to them. We've got Eftem and Mihail in the back hanging out with us, answering technical questions in the Q&A. Massive shout out to them. Also, we've got Dale and Laura backing us up as always on the back end for content and all that fun stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so massive shout out to them. We couldn't do this without them. So, all right. And yeah, I think they're gonna go ahead and take this away, and I'm gonna go ahead and hang out in the back. But I'll see you guys for Q&A.
We'll see you then.
All right, great. See you later.
Okay, so today on Email Academy, we're going to dive into a review of 2025 campaign performance metrics and take a look at how we draw conclusions and how we use those conclusions to draw our 2026 KPIs and then plan our strategy and campaigns to achieve them. So we're going to kind of do a full circle on how you look at it and how you plan for the next year. You ready, Julia?
Yep, ready. This is a topic we haven't really covered yet on Email Academy, so this is kind of exciting, in my opinion. Do you agree?
I do. I love the stats, you know?
Love stats. It's all about the stats. Just a blanket statement before we get started. Yes, this will be recorded, and you can come back to the recording later today if you have to drop off. But we'll also send it via email tomorrow. So yes, it'll be recorded.
And don't forget to throw your questions tab.
Yes, in the Q&A tab if you have anything. And we love a active chat, so don't be afraid to talk amongst yourselves and shout out to us too. We're paying attention. Okay, so a year in review. You know, that time of year, we're all thinking back on things. Before you review your stats, so this is the first step, right? You want to, before you do anything, you need to know what you've got, what you're working with. So you want to kind of evaluate your own sending strategy. How do you send? Do you segment? Do you not segment right now? How often are you sending? Do you have A/B tests you have to factor in? So you want to kind of think of these things before you are fully diving into the data so that you collect everything that you need. Because this kind of sets you up for success. You weren't going to get really granular here. This is not like a kind of overarching discussion we're having today. It's pretty granular. So we're trying to like break it down bit by bit. So once you have all of your data kind of collected, you have to decide like how do you want to slice it. We recommend usually by audience. I think that's kind of the easiest way to do it. There's so much data that you probably have access to. What's the easiest biteable part? Like, you know, what is that phrase?
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yes, kind of like that. Yes. So we recommend by audience, and it's also easier just to do this because if you have different audiences like customers versus blog subscribers, you want to compare the audience against itself. So blog subscribers against blog subscribers, and your like newsletter over time. You only want to compare that audience to itself, if that makes sense. So just because your customer, yes, you want to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. Your customers are going to interact differently with your emails than your blog subscribers. So you want to make sure that you're again apples to apples comparing. And then I want to mention one more thing before we move on to the next slide. people often ask us about benchmarks, like what are industry benchmarks? What can we keep in mind? My answer to this is like using your own metrics as your benchmark. So this helps you establish that. If you track your blog subscriber behavior over time, you're going to be able to establish your baseline and your benchmarks going forward, which is kind of what we're talking about today, versus kind of comparing it to industry trends that are out there published somewhere that like you can't really rely on. So yeah, and for going forward, we're going to use a newsletter subscriber kind of example. So just keep that in mind as we're talking through this, but we'll remind you. Great. So here's what you're going to be looking at. This is kind of what you can get from your email service provider, your ESP, what you export when you export your campaign metrics. We'll have some examples shortly, but you're looking at your engagement levels, your clicks, opens, and I know there's a caveat with opens because of Apple now. We have a blog on that we're going to share. But and you also want to look at your unsubscribe rates, lowest and highest. You know, a lot of people may not think about that, but if something doesn't resonate with someone, how quick are you to unsubscribe from an email that you get and you're like, I don't care about this. So that's, I think, a key factor for when you're looking at overall performance. This tells you if they didn't resonate with the content, or if there's a low unsub rate, we can assume that they did enjoy that content. Something is clicking with them, pun intended. Also, what can you see post-click? Did they visit a web page? Did they join a webinar? Did they make a purchase? And then which email caused the most action after they clicked on it? If you can get some of that data along with your engagement data, that's where it's going to be the sweet spot. And it's going to be a really great indicator of your effectiveness. And then finally, look at your A/B test results and your statistical significance. And statistical significance refers to whether any differences observed between the two tests that you see are real or simply due to like chance or coincidence. So we're going to talk about A/B testing a little bit more, but this is just like, did they really like that subject or that content, or was it just what they felt on clicking that day? You kind of want to A/B test over and over to make sure it's an actual real result. And for statistical significance, there's online calculators for this. Natalie, anything to note here?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, we've been spending the whole year talking about how you drive engagement. This is where you start looking at that engagement and seeing how much you drove.
Right, exactly. Yeah, this has really been like the culmination of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have what we're looking at. What are we looking for? This is something like you're looking at your successes. What had high engagement? Not so much successes. I didn't want to use the word failures because a campaign, if it didn't do well, is not a failure. It's just a good test for going forward and a good indicator that something needs optimized, for lack of a better word. What are the outliers? What are the outliers in your data? Did some metrics surprise you? Did something do well that you didn't expect to do well, or vice versa? Did something fall short of engagement? And then what about that caused that your audience to engage? Was it verbiage? CTA placement? Jot that down so that you have that kind of insights going forward, so you can test it in the future to see if it was a true result or if it was just coincidence. Pay attention to the time of year or time of day sent. That's very important. Again, we'll show some examples soon, but it's kind of interesting that like time of day, Friday afternoon is not gonna really, on Friday afternoons, or you probably don't have a lot of meetings, hopefully. So you would be thinking that you're in your inbox checking your email, but people aren't. It's interesting, but maybe that's a test for your audience that you can do. Has your recipient list grown over the year, and by how much? Is there opportunities for more growth? And how have your and then how many of your subscribers did not engage this year? So you're looking at engagement, but on the reverse, you're looking at how many did not, because and then we're going to try to figure out why not. Why didn't they engage? What can we do to re-engage them? So, Natalie, let's put I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
And I think you covered this well for us.
So I went in because we want to really show you, we're talking about what you're looking for, how you dig into these, but I went in and I used Mailjet's campaign comparison tool to pull my statistics for all the campaigns with a specific newsletter. Again, I'm pulling in the specific audience and comparing apples to apples here. And that way we can kind of see how that performed throughout the year. So this is showing us the time of the year it was sent. I squished the columns because it does have time in there of day, but I wanted it to fit on the slide. So this is what we got. But it's also showing us our clicks, our opens, and again, the unsubscribe rates were in there as well. So it really gives you all of that data as well as the campaign subjects. So you kind of have an overview when you're digging in there and you're seeing your engagement rates and stuff. You can kind of tie that back to the campaign so that when you see those successes and not so successes, you can then go back and look at the actual data. So as she was saying, what we're actually looking for, these are the numbers that we're going to be digging into. It's what are my clicks? And those clicks are going to be the engagement that we saw. What are my opens? That's the engagement. Always caveat with bot opens and Apple, but Mailjet removes bot opens. So when we're reviewing this data specifically, we're going to be looking for conclusions. We're going to be going in there and we're going to be saying, okay, what was the highest? What was the lowest? What was in engagement, in opens? What were the variances? So with that data that I just showed you, we can draw some conclusions. And those conclusions are that we had feature-specific education newsletters that went out that performed way better than kind of generic productivity messaging. So that kind of points to how my content was working for the audience. And then we had kind of the best timing of the year was that August campaign, which significantly outperformed others, which makes sense as you're getting back to work after the summer and such. So we're drawing conclusions on that content and that timing. We can also pull some conclusions from our audience behavior. So in that data, we see strong open rates. So that really tells us that we have strong sender reputation and probably subject lines as well, because we get strong open rates every time we send. But there is a click-through rate variance. It's low sometimes and high other times, which means there's probably a content gap. We're getting them to open, but they're not clicking. So instead of really pointing to deliverability issues where maybe we're not hitting the inbox because we know they're opening, we're seeing more that they are not engaging with the content past that. And so that kind of draws us to a conclusion that challenge is post-open engagement, not the inbox placement itself. So kind of high level drawing of conclusions there on my subset of data, but it shows us that the vague value propositions underperform and that we have generic strategy or productivity themes fail to really drive that action in our newsletters. Being able to draw those conclusions from our data really tells us how we can reorient our content and our marketing for next year to improve upon those points. Mm-hmm. So Julia, you take a look at this stuff all the time. What do you always what's your first go-to when you're digging into this? Where do they get started?
That's a good question. Well, I do also want to point out that it's good to keep track of these things, but also for year-over-year growth, so you can show that you're improving for not just externally for your audiences, but for your internal stakeholders. Because you can say, look how much we're growing, look how much of an engagement we're keeping with our emails. This is a great channel. Email's the highest channel with the email is the channel with the highest ROI. I always look at that. So it's good to just keep track of these things, not just for your audience growth, but internally to show that you are making improvements on your campaigns and you're making a difference with this channel. As far as what I get started with, I do look at clicks first, I won't lie, but I look at okay, what we're B2B, right? So for our own internal use case, I see what kind of steps our audiences take after they click. Do they go into their account? Do they upgrade? And then I can attribute that back to, if I can attribute that back to an email, I can say, oh, this email campaign generated 10 upgrades because after they click this link, within 5 days, they upgraded their account. So that is a win for the email channel. So that kind of makes it, attribute that ROI, and it's like, oh, email's contributing to the overall business goals.
Yeah, you can really connect that data back to the goals that we're trying to drive for in that email channel. Because as much as we want it to just be about sending an email, we are trying to accomplish something.
Sorry, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe it was my hair touching my AirPods.
Okay, so we want to ask every one of you, how do you currently use your email reports? And let's open this up. Go ahead and go to the poll tab to answer it. That way we can really kind of understand, right? There's so much data that is available to us, and making sure that we're using it correctly really helps us drive those strategies and our goals. So we want to open up to you guys.
Yep.
So
the top, you're going to go to the polls tab. I'm really excited to see your answers. Yeah, I mean, because people use them for different things, tracking opens and clicks over time, like we just said, for your own benchmarks, or again, justifying your email program's value, trying to make strategic decisions, because they do influence. You can use your stats to influence future campaigns, which is what we're doing today. And I mean, I also use I know I'm a big fan of email, but when you all reply to our community inbox, that's me monitoring that. And I take your advice, or like your feedback, into account. I'm not ignoring it. It's a good feedback loop.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're going to keep that open. So don't forget to put your answer in there. Okay. So the next step is you're going to define your goals. Here's the thing. You're going to have overall business goals, right? You're going to work with your team or with the overall, your overall company to create your business goals. Then from there, you're going to have a subset of how email as a channel can contribute toward those goals. This could be for the half year, for the year, for the quarter. I think we do like full year OKRs, and then kind of drill it down into each quarter. So it's kind of like every use case is different. Every company is different, of course, right? But here's how you're going to do it for email. Well, here's our suggestions. You don't have to do it this way. Don't define them too far from reality. Aim high. You always want to be improving, but don't make them, make it achievable. There's something you can achieve within the year or half year or quarter year or whatever. Natalie, I'm sure you have experience with this too. We want to aim for the moon, but then, make them easy to understand about.
We're going to solve every problem possible, but we're not going to probably get 100% click-through rates. So let's make them realistic.
Right. You want to outline them to make them actionable based on what your stats tell you. So again, we often map out OKRs with an objective, what we're trying to achieve, and then what the key result is and what you're expecting, and what initiatives will roll into that objective. So what kind of email campaigns am I going to run in 2026 to get me closer to my overall OKRs? And how are we going to measure that effectiveness? And this is where KPIs come in, or key performance indicators. This is where we're showing that effectiveness. So clicks, conversions, whatever conversion means for you, retention rates, repeat purchases, these all kind of contribute to your overall business goals. Right? We do have an example here. So say our goal is to increase web traffic by 10%. You're gonna be like, wait, this has nothing to do with email. But it does, because email is a huge website traffic driver. So if, say, the strategy here is to increase your unique click rate from 8.6% to 12%, this kind of layers into increasing that website traffic. The more they're clicking on your website links in email, the higher that traffic is going to be. So for this, your key performance indicator is your unique click rate. Anything to note here, Natalie?
No, I always say, make sure they're simple and easy to understand, right? You want them to be really easy to communicate, really easy to action on. And if we have overly lofty OKRs or goals that we're putting forth, it can get complicated. So we want it to be quick, actionable, and drive towards that top level goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on.
So Yeah, so we're using all of that data to plan our strategy. We're going to pull this back in with our data so that we can really look at how we're going to start strategizing for the new year. We've reviewed our data, we've drawn our conclusions, and now we need to start strategizing to help you achieve those goals. So we want to, collect inspiration for your new designs and utilize new email templates. Start writing that email copy that resonates with your goals. So you want to really start prepping for the next year based on all the data you've seen and the content that worked, and knowing what you need to plan for, and bring it all together and bring it to life. We always recommend clean your list quarterly. That makes your engagement healthy. It protects your deliverability. It ensures that you'll be able to reach your goals because you're maintaining that over time. We always say quarterly because we want a good, healthy list that protects your engagement. The better your engagement, the better your deliverability. Will always be a broken record on this topic because it's a fundamental. And then really focus on how you're going to grow your audience. Maybe you want to increase it this year by placing it on on a website where it's more high traffic, so you can grow that audience over time to continuously grow those newsletter subscriptions and reach a broader audience. Maybe social is the better channel for you. So really strategize about how you want your growth to look and what it's gonna feed into your goals and your audience. Now, to do this, there's a lot of tools as you're getting ready for the next year that you can use to really map out your success. You can map out your automations and your segmentation to help increase engagement, and this helps you automate so that you're not sending every single campaign. You have that continuous engagement and continuous enrichment for your audience. Make sure you have your contact properties and the data on your audience ready so that you can really get in there and create that personalization, whether through segmentation or dynamic content, so that you're really ready to action against that personalization, because we do know that drives, that engagement. Get prepped with those tools that save you time. So things like Brand Kit, where you can upload your logos, your colors, your fonts, that you can do once and be done so that you're not repeating yourself each and every time. And start out by building your segments. So take a look at all your data and see who was engaged, who wasn't engaged, and map out your segments and build those in advance. Mailjet has dynamic segmentation, so you can build them in advance. And that way, when you're ready to send, we go through, we look at your contact list, and we tell you who meets that at the time of send. It's not a once and done, and you have to redo it every time. You can really prep that out in advance so that you can connect with your audience quickly. Anything to add there, Julia?
No, I don't think so. We just started, and things you think, oh, we have this blog newsletter subscription covered. It's on our website. It's seen. We recently just moved up. We realized that our blog subscription got moved down to the bottom of the page. So we recently pushed it back up to higher on the page of our blog. And then we also added it into some more of our popular blogs. Shout out to Dale. He did all of this. I shouldn't take credit. I just kind of advised. So he did a lot of this work with me. And that has just given it a little bit more of a boost, a little bit more visibility, kind of attracted people more to say hey, this is available. Don't forget that we have this option to keep in touch with us. So yeah, I think it is worth just kind of auditing your current setup and strategy to see if there's anything missing or quick wins like that,
Yeah, it's a great call out. It's one of those things when you're too close to something, you might be overlooking it. So getting a fresh pair of eyes can really help too.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of using the tools at your disposal, segmentation, you can do this now, preparing for 2026. And they're, shout out Dale. You can do this now for 2026 and they're ready to go. So, and you can see what your counts are for how many members of your audience apply to that segment. And I kind of like doing that because then if your audience is too small, you might want to rethink your segmentation so that you can A/B test accurately. Because with A/B testing, you kind of want to have it enough to be statistically significant. So I think the minimum suggestion is 500 contacts per variant, but maybe even 1,000 if you can. I think is preferred. So it's definitely something you want to keep in mind, looking at those counts ahead of time. Anyway, okay, so when we think of a blog newsletter subscription list, you're going to have different segments of audience segments, right? You're going to have engaged, these are people who actively interact with your emails. They click, visit your web pages, or they're giving you something, more than just opening it or not engaging at all. Here you can keep doing what you're doing, like you're doing, oops, sorry. Did I just move that?
Yeah, there we go.
We're good. I hit the space bar. Keep doing what you're doing with the added bonus of knowing what works thanks to your stats. So what are they interacting with the most? You kind of maybe give them content that is similar or supporting the content they previously enjoyed so that you can keep them coming back for more. And again, build off the A/B test winners for this group so you can keep testing for accuracy and then using that information for your unengaged. So if they have unengaged has not opened or clicked in X period of time, that timing is up to you. It depends on how often you send, how frequently. So if you're not sending every week, make sure that time period you're looking at is a little bit farther than just the last 2 weeks. Because if they haven't had the opportunity to receive an email, they haven't had the opportunity to engage with it. Segmentation math is a really interesting topic. I think we could talk about that all day.
That's fair. When you're building, like you were saying, you can always take a look at how many people are in those and adjust as needed.
Right, exactly. So the unengaged, this is a great opportunity for re-engagement, trying different pieces of content that, you didn't expect would be popular with people. Maybe it would be popular with the engaged group. Maybe something isn't resonating with them. Try to get them to see what works for them. Test as much as you want. Mailjet, you can test up to 10 variants. That's amazing. Get that out there. Try something. Or you can also use it as a way to remove them entirely from your list. This depends on how your timing cadence and strategy. But if they're not engaged for the last 6 months and you've been sending for the last 6 months, maybe they're cold and they need removed from your list, which will then increase your engagement metrics because they're not dragging you down. And that's not, it's not a sad goodbye. You could also tell them there's creative ways to kind of bring back people. We noticed you haven't engaged in a while. We're going to take you off our list unless you wish otherwise. So engage with us, sir. It's not us, or it's not you, it's us, kind of thing.
I feel like I've been getting those emails a lot lately.
Yeah. And it's good. It's better to remove unengaged people from your list because it's better for your deliverability, your reputation. It's better to, just engagement is what keeps the world going, email world going. So you want people who are engaging. Also, looking at both of these segments, you're going to have customers that overlap, or people who are buying your product or are subscribers to your actual platform, whatever your use case might be. Providing them with additional context of why this content of your newsletter pertains to them is a little bit an extra step to show that you're paying attention to who they are, what they want, why this is important to them. And I think that gives them more of a reason to keep coming back for more. Okay, we're not done yet with the segments. So you're also going to have, I'm going to do this backwards, opened but didn't click. So if you have sent them something, email every week for the past 3 months, and they've opened, they see you. It's like people watching your Instagram story, but not talking to you. They've opened, they see it, but they're not clicking. Test new content, test different copy styles, try a new design. Maybe something isn't resonating with them, but they're still interested in you for some reason. They're not ready to make that commitment. I do this all the time. How many brands do you subscribe to and you're just not ready to buy something yet, but you want to be kept in the know? There's opportunity there, but you just have to find what clicks with them. And make sure your subject lines are representative with the content of your email. So, we have a subject line at the beginning of the webinar, like, ways to improve your personalization. Nothing in that said anything about email personalization. So our audiences may not have realized that we were talking about email. It could have been talking about, something else, not necessarily email marketing, which is what our audiences want. So, but the other one was like something about dynamic content and personalization. That is a little bit more specific for our audience. So, if the subject line was not matching the content, they probably didn't realize that they would have been beneficial for them. For your new subscribers, I know I had them in here as a segment, but we think you should treat them completely differently, separately from these other 3 segments, and then they may flow into the other 3 segments. So again, to get those new subscribers, you can promote your newsletter across other channels and web pages. Your social, great place to put it. Different pages on your website that you may think that they wouldn't necessarily subscribe to a blog, but you never know. And then make sure you're including a double opt-in email and a welcome email to show them what they can expect. Double opt-ins to protect your lists and your overall deliverability. The welcome is to give them a little more bigger impression of what they're to expect. And of course, likewise with the customers, there's going to be overlap with these segments as well. So just copy paste what I said before here. There's you give them what they want, show them that you're paying attention and why this is beneficial to them. Any comments here, Natalie?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, it's a lot to set up, but once you get it going, it's definitely going to prove successful. If you segmentation is such a powerful tool that I just want to scream it all the time to people, because it really helps you get into the nitty gritty and define that personalization to really speak to your audience. So segmentation.
Okay. All right. New goal or new poll for your new goal. What is your goal for 2026? Are you trying to improve customer retention, drive more conversions and sales, or just improve, or grow your subscriber list, understand how AI fits in? We're not really, we might touch on AI today, but not too much. But what's your goal?
I will say, looking at the last poll, we didn't really go over the results. It looks like most people are currently using their email reports for tracking opens and clicks. And the second highest was to make strategic decisions for future campaigns. So it looks like a lot of people are using them. For those who said we don't use them much, start there. That's the best place to start.
What's AI? I don't know. I don't know her. I've never heard of that. I don't know her.
All right.
All right.
Sales.
Oops. Hold on. Oh, is that the current?
This current leader. We're looking at driving more conversions and sales. So.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect time to hop into how do we do that, right? We have our data and we've made our conclusions and we started our segments and started prepping. What are we doing to get ready for 2026?
2, 1, prep.
So when you're building your strategy for Q1, you're really starting from that data, you're putting it to work. So from our data, we're going to draw this circle all the way home here. We knew that our CTA performance were variable in 2025 campaigns and content with vague value props was less performant. So Julie and I put together a handful of examples of things that with this data, how we would implement the different tools and features and functionalities available to us to really put these into effect and bring them to life in 2026. And I had a lot of fun creating some of these with you because obviously as a product person, you're building these tools for email marketers. So seeing my email marketer in there playing with the tools is a lot of fun. Automations is an awesome tool to get started and start building so you have consistent engagement. Julia, I know you use automations all the time. Why is it such a go-to for you?
I think because they're so intuitive, like it does so much of the work for me. Because if we're setting up like for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I set up a lot of emails at once to keep people engaged so that I could focus on a lot of prep for other things that needed to go on. So that's the first part. I love it for the ability. It's like a sidekick, you know. I know it's reliable, it's going to go out, it's going to attract an engagement. And then it's also the intuitive different behavioral situations. So if they engage with something or they didn't engage with something, I can assign them to different paths in an automation to give them more of like that more personalized treatment, personalized path. And it's also a good way to know like if people aren't engaged. Okay, I get it. This isn't the best time for you. I'll move you to our unengaged audience, and I'll come back later.
That's the best thing about automations is you can utilize segmentation with them then to create those different branches. So here it's kind of small on my screen. I don't know how big it is on your guys' screen, but we have those different like unengaged, engaged, and open but did not click, so that you can create that content for that segment. And then based on how they react to that content, you can throw them into a different automation. You can throw them into a different segment of that automation. So you can really like define their journey for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helps, like you said, a sidekick that keeps that consistent engagement and keeps that valuable information out to your users and your audiences, so that, you know, I wish we could all send all of the emails one off every single time, but we want to provide valuable content to our audiences, and we only have two hands. Automations is there to help us.
Automations have as many hands as there are paths. So
we gotta move on to the next thing before we start loving our way through email. We've said it a million times, but segmentation, you can build that out early, you can review it, you can set it based on your time, you can look at your audiences. Check out Mailjet in Q1. We're going to be releasing some fun things around segmentation to make it even easier. There's a hint in that screenshot there, but this will allow you to really do it based on contact properties. So if you want to filter on favorite color or has engaged, has not engaged, get the personalization in, you can create those audiences. And I will say that when you're creating these audiences and you can run that calculation on your audience, you can see how granular you're getting to see if you need to scale it back or bring it in, right? We don't want to send an email blast to 5 people on our list because they like green, they haven't engaged, and they live in one region and they click their emails at 5 p.m. So it's 5 people. That's probably not the best. So you can really play with those to define your audiences. Yep.
I think that's great. And Mailjet also has, like, you can preview the count. Mm-hmm. Right. Sorry, if you just said that, I was reading the Q&A.
Yes. And like I said, we've got some more things coming to segmentation in 2026 because we've been busy over here planning on the product side to make it even easier. But yeah, it lets you take a look at your audiences at that current time and see how many people match, so you can see if you are going too granular, or maybe you need to go a little bit further because it's too much of your audience, and really play around with those.
Yep.
Okay, what else do we got? A/B testing.
Love this.
What a good feature. Especially for those who have opened but have not clicked. Why didn't they click? What didn't resonate with them? A/B testing is a great way to figure this out. Maybe the content's not resonating with them. Maybe the CTAs aren't speaking to them. Maybe it's the placement. I will say, make sure the variances aren't so dramatic that you can't draw reasonable conclusions for them. If you have a completely different email on B than you do on A, and then create a different one on C, you're not going to know what the variance was that triggered the engagement. So you want to create slight variations. You know, we learned, like, always keep one access the same while you test the other. You want that reliance. How do you use A/B testing as you go in and try to hit your goals for 2026?
That's a good question. I was just thinking of another way to do it is to, I was going to be like, Julia, stop. Another way to do it is in an automation. You can split, let's say you have a 50-50 split because you want to test 2 different types of content. Okay, you're splitting your audience 50-50. You're sending version A in one path, version B in another. Then you switch them. So essentially your audience is getting both emails just at like a week apart, right? So that way they're getting both emails. So you can see which one they're resonating with more. And then it's like they have opportunities to engage with both. It's not just random out there and half of your audience didn't receive one version at all. Does that you're more eloquent than I am. Does that make sense?
Test with the same person with that variance, and you can see what they're actually engaging with.
Yes,
what do you do if they
I
engage
do that
with both?
often. Oh, if they engage with both, then it's like, okay, you really like us. No, I'm just kidding. No, then you can, just keep honing in on supporting content to both of them and see if there's like something, then you kind of keep going. Or they're just interested in overall just learning more. Which is great.
Love it. Okay. Oh,
great.
That was the feature I had.
So. That's fine. I think because we have a ton of time for Q&A, which I think is great because we have a ton of questions. So make sure you're adding your questions to the Q&A tabs that we see them, and then start upvoting. So go through and start upvoting the ones you want us to answer first. Before we forget, we already have our next Email Academy scheduled for January 21st. It is Email Marketing Trends for 2026. I believe Laura or Dale has that landing page so that we can, you can start registering. You can get those reminders. But yeah, join us.
Yeah. All right. Is it that time of the hour where we bring Thomas back? Think him, and he just shows up.
It is time. It is time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you heard Julia and Natalie earlier, please make sure you upvote the questions that you want answered the most. And that kind of helps us because we want to make sure we stay on topic. But all right, tons of good feedback in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and take a look at these questions, shall we? And if Natalie or Julia sees one before I do, go ahead and call it out, and I'll throw it up on that screen. Let's see here.
I'll say I was seeing a ton in the chat that aren't in QA, so make sure you submit them over there and go through and send them over too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, these are also good. Where should we start?
I always go to the wrong place. Sorry. I always, like, every single time. Can I share this one out? How much data, time frame, 1 year, 6 months, etc., do you recommend collecting before analyzing, identifying your own benchmarks? I'd start collecting immediately, just to first off establish your kind of cadence and your own strategy for how you want to collect your data so you can, for me, I export a lot and I put in spreadsheets and I save my spreadsheets and then I have Excel do formulas to total everything for different audiences. If that doesn't work for you, you want to find the best way that works for you. But then, kind of, so you can see that evolve over time. But I would start immediately. And if you're testing something and it depends how much you send, right? If you're sending every week, again, a blog newsletter every week, you can see that kind of change over time already within 4 weeks. But then, of course, it's going to give you more and more information the longer you go. Natalie, any other?
Yeah, I would say it's heavily depend the time frame itself, as to when it can start really telling you data. Obviously, if you send once a month isn't going to be the best time zone or time range. But if you send 4 times, you're going to already start to see those variances. So I would say somewhere around 3 to 4 sends is when you're going to start seeing some trends. It's probably the more data you build, the more intuitive it's going to get. But I mean, honestly, when it comes to I look at week over week stats on a lot of things because if you're looking at it, you can see some of those trends closely, but it just depends on that volume.
All right, love it. Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Mark that one as answered. Okay. Let's see here.
this one, I'm going to share this one. It was already answered, but I just want to
Yeah.
share it because it kind of goes along with what we were just talking about. How long would you wait after sending an unsubscribe email for non-engagers before unsubscribing them manually? So our Mihail answered this in the chat already, but it would, again, depend on your audience and engagement. And I'm sorry to keep saying it depends, but it does depend on your use case. You just have to find what works best for you. And also blanket statement for everyone. If you have specific, like if you want to send us more context, I'm going to send our community inbox in the chat. If you want to provide more context to with your question so that we can better give you advice, please send them over and Natalie and I will get back to you. Mihail also brought up the sunset policies, which I think is great because that's going to your sunset policies and then also your own acceptable use policies, your terms and conditions. So that's going to vary by company, by situation. You can also say in the email, we're giving you 1 week. Like if you don't engage within by December 18th, we're going to unsubscribe you from our list and you can resubscribe at any time. So you can, I mean, be upfront with them, you know, it's their inbox, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dira. Mark that one. Okay, cool. Let's see, scrolling through.
I'm going to share that one because I super like it. It depends on your ESP and what stats they have. Mailjet definitely does tell you different device types and like email service providers, so like inbox service providers and such. So you do have this data. I think the best way you interpret and act on it is if your audience is mostly mobile, you need to make sure your emails are, always make sure your emails are accessible, but also make sure they're, oh my gosh, I forgot the word. When they go small.
Responsive.
Thank you. It's been a long day.
When they go smaller.
Yeah, so you're gonna want to optimize like mobile first if your audience is more mobile versus, you know, if they're in browsers or traditional like Outlooks and stuff, you can really optimize your content for one over the other, just as you see with so many, you know, websites and such. So I think that is how I would interpret it. Anything you would add on that, Julia?
No, I think I agree. Yeah. And if you're shameless plug, Email and Acid is a great tool to use to make sure that your emails are rendering correctly across all inboxes and devices so that you can really kind of you can really pick which clients and devices your audiences use the most, so you can kind of prioritize those if you want. But again, we have unlimited previews, so unlike
that feature is available in Mailjet as well.
Yes, you're right. Also, you know, you get that there. All the clients and devices also in Mailjet.
Yeah. Email previews are a great way to optimize for that content for sure. Don't skip the testing.
Do not skip it. All right. Thank you, Tony. Okay, moving down the line here. Let's see. Oh man, we've been answering a bunch of these.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Oh, we answered that one.
I love this. Last year of Outlook Classic issues. Ha 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 ha.
Never ending.
We have a colleague, Megan Bushhausen. She's an amazing email developer. She is no longer with the company, but she always says Outlook's going to Outlook. And I just like every time I think of Outlook, that's, you know, never have an issue.
Every time.
Wait, there was a good one. Hold on. Don't forget to go and upvote, everyone. Yeah. Go into the Q&A and upvote so we know we're answering right.
Most memorable AV test you did in 2025?
I saw this and I was like, wait, I need to think of an answer to that one.
I was
It's such a
wondering if
good
y'all wanted to
question.
answer that one.
Because I want to answer too.
Yeah.
It's such a good question. Hold on, let me think
Best
about
picks of
this.
2025. Yeah, let's hear this.
We did a test with verbiage. This was for the Mailgun cohort. So I send emails for Mailgun, Mailjet email method, right? We did a test for Mailgun's cohort that was to free users, and we have a limit for free users how much they can send in a day. And so I usually say, like, you know, if you're hitting this limit, you may want to consider upgrading too, so that you don't have a limit. So in November and December, I shouldn't say October and November, I added in like a holiday message, like before the holidays really pick up, before that Black Friday, Cyber Monday really picks up, you may want to upgrade. Did not care. They didn't, like, people did not respond to that kind of urgency in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday of it all. They upgraded more from like the non-holiday messaging, which I thought was so interesting because it's like that timeliness. Peek behind the curtain there, you know, but yeah, I think that was the most memorable. I was not yeah, I know it does feel counterintuitive, doesn't it? Okay, that was an outlier.
Oh man.
Anyhow, that was the first one I thought of, Anthony, but I'm gonna keep thinking of what my favorites were.
Oh man.
Don't you wish you could also see, like, as a email recipient, what A/B tests you didn't receive?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to know that much.
Oh.
Sometimes you just don't want to know. Yeah.
Maybe
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank
this
you,
is
Anthony.
a good
That was a good one.
This is a good question.
Oh.
Do y'all have an opinion on that? Because I'm not a big Redditor, but I have heard.
Well,
Reddit
so
is
my
tricky.
opinion, my opinion on Reddit is that Reddit isn't really like, Reddit's more for organic engagement. Like it's not really a place that welcomes businesses coming in and trying to like sell you things. It's more like people recommending to other people. So I would say if you have a brand account where you interact with a bunch of things and you on your page or anything like that can say like, hey, feel free to follow me. I think that's fine. If you're like replying to people and being like, subscribe to our newsletter, I don't think people will react that well, just based on purely being a Reddit subscriber over here, like someone in the comments, just because of how that platform works. I feel like more traditional, like I people engage with that a lot more in social medias where we're more used to businesses being present as businesses.
Yeah, it's like trying to be organic in this time and age, right? So it's like, yeah, like if you're on Reddit and you're asking for advice, let's say throughout the email community or something like that. I see like more like throwing your website, hey, sign up, check out my website. This is really cool. I offer this service, and then maybe have that widget right in there as soon as you open up that website. You give that opportunity for people to double opt in right then and there. It's a little bit more natural than like shoving it in someone's face. Hey, sign up for my stuff.
Yeah. Reddit's a different beast because it is really like people asking for recommendations and like person to person.
Yeah. Someone just commented they had huge pushback from users when a client went rogue and used Reddit to push their contact form. They got spam so bad, which
Yeah.
I would definitely.
But to answer the question, is there like, what is for newsletter signups? I think using your own website, using LinkedIn, Instagram, like it depends. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't go straight up asking, hey, can I have your email?
Yeah.
Without anything. Kind of a warmed up, but yeah. And someone asked, can you recommend Reddit communities? I mean, yeah, there's tons of there's actual email marketing subreddit, stuff like that. And all of us are highly involved in the Email Geeks community, the Slack group. I'd highly recommend checking that out as well, because it's an active group of thousands of email marketers, other email individuals as well. So a great community, and it's super easy to sign up for. So check that out.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, David, for that one. Okay, we got 4 minutes left. Let's make these count.
Okay, I just want to share this one. Any thoughts on click? Anthony, you have great questions in here. A lot of people put in multiple questions. I'm obsessed. Any thoughts on click percentage versus click to open? Clicked versus yes. So click percentage, you always want to use unique first. Let's get that right. You always want to use unique for both clicks and opens. Clicks percentage is over delivered, divided by delivered, and then click to open is clicks divided by opens. I believe Anthony's asking this because of the whole Apple of it all, like their policies. You can still use your clicks with a grain of salt, especially if you have bot detection, right? Mailjet has bot detection. So like, I think Natalie can probably attest that, it's more accurate even with Apple, but I would still go with a click percentage, but then I would, even going beyond that, I'm looking at what people are doing beyond that click, because I think that's what we're going off of now.
Yeah, I think the best way is like clicks are directionally accurate because of bot detection. They're never going to be 100% because it's a moving game. Every time we update to get more and more, we can't promise 100% detection because inbox service providers are moving a mile a minute and, they're robots and we're not. But I would say directionally accurate, we're capturing so many of them and use a variety of different methods to capture them. But no email service provider is going to get 100%. So directionally accurate is my corporate phrase that I love.
That's a great way to say it. Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. And thank you everyone else for all their amazing questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost out of time here. So we are going to go ahead and start saying our goodbyes for the year. Julia, Natalie, any last comments before we wrap this up like a present?
Oh my gosh.
You're so funny. I'm going to put in 2 things into the chat. If you have Mailjet questions, I'm sending you to community@mailjet.com. Send those over. If you have email on acid questions, send it to hello@emailonacid.com. Don't be hesitant because there are some questions I don't think we got to. So please send those over. That's my only caveat.
Yeah. And if you want to stay connected with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to find the link real quick. It's my name though.
Oh, shoot.
And real quick, someone's asking, hey, how do we watch this? Or how do we, can we get a copy of the deck? All you got to do is come back to this page later in the day and you can rewatch this recording. And also check out your inbox. Julia's going to send out the replay later in the day. So yeah, go take a nap, go eat lunch or something, come back later. It'll be here. Don't worry. So
nap and lunch.
Yeah, nap and lunch.
Okay,
Awesome, y'all.
Thanks for spending this hour with us, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll see you next year. I need to start
See you
making that
next
joke now.
year, January 21st. That'll be the Email Academy 2026. We'll see you there. So,
See you
Natalie,
there.
Julia, I'll see you guys next year. It's been a pleasure. Hope you guys have an amazing holiday. Hope everyone across the world has an amazing holiday.
Yes.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
Enjoy. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.